Hello, beautiful freshmen. Hopefully by now you've taken your nonfiction quiz and you've completed most of all we're doing for nonfiction. Your last task is to look at those four main types of nonfiction that we have covered. Narrative, where it's telling a story like biography, autobiography. Descriptive, similar to if you were trying to describe something, to travel to a place, to describe that place. Persuasive, trying to convince someone that your opinion is correct. And expository, where it is more factual. So pick a subject that you are pretty passionate about. You can pick pretty much any subject, but if it's something that you're more passionate about or have experience with, that is going to help you for this assignment. So for me and the paragraphs I chose to write, I chose to do Scotland, which is one of my favorite places ever. So if you take a look at the example that I've included, you'll see I did a paragraph where it's narrative. It talks about my experience the very first time I was in Scotland, specifically at Edinburgh Castle, and just how I felt. So that one is a narrative piece. Again, also about Scotland, I did a descriptive piece. This one is more describing Loch Ness. And so trying to give the reader a picture in their mind's eye about what this place was like. For persuasive, one of the things I discovered when I was in Scotland was the fact that they wanted to kind of have their independence from the British, whereas a lot of people in England viewed themselves as British, like Great Britain, the whole four countries that make that up. Scottish people view themselves as Scottish. I went during the Queen's birthday and was kind of concerned that that might be a bad time to go because it was her 60th Jubilee celebration of when she became Queen, and found out very quickly Scottish people weren't that fussed about the Queen because, again, of how they viewed themselves as Scottish. So for the persuasive, I was trying to persuade that Scottish people should have their independence from Britain. And then last but not least, expository. I tried to include some of the facts that I learned while I was there. So hopefully you can see the differences between the different styles. Your task is to choose 3 of the 4. So if you're not feeling particularly persuasive, you don't have to do that one. If you can't really describe it, then you can choose a different one. But choose something you're passionate about. That might be sports. So you might be able to tell a narrative about sports. You might be able to persuade why that sport's the best. You might be able to describe or inform how that works. Okay, so again, choose something you're passionate about. It could be snakes. It could be art. It could be dragons, although I don't know how you would necessarily do expository on dragons, informative. The sky's the limit, but you do need to write these 3 paragraphs by the end of today. Have a great one, my freshmen.